All right, GCSE Chemists, here we go. Welcome to Cracking Chemistry Goes Live, and we're going to be looking at the periodic table in this first question. So if you've got any questions or you've got any answers, get them in the chat, and then we can talk about whether you've got them right or not. So question 1. In 1866, John Newlands produced an early version of the periodic table. Part of Newland's periodic table is shown below. Newland's periodic table arranged all the known elements into columns in order of their atomic weight. So, he was trying to show the pattern by putting elements into columns. Iron does not fit in this. Doesn't not fit the pattern. So the question is why? Why does it not fit? Who can tell me in the chat? Who can tell me? Why does iron not fit in this group? What do we think, people? What do we think? Why does iron not? Why is iron a loner? Why does it look massively out of place? What do we think, chat? It's not got a free electron and conducts electricity. It's kind of simpler than that. What kind of thing? It's a metal, Dorcas. Brilliant. It's literally a metal, isn't it? So, oxygen, sulfur are non-metals. So your answer to this first question is that it's literally a metal. It doesn't fit the pattern. It's a metal. You were thinking too deeply, purple 193838. Okay? Just literally, it's a metal, non-metal. You're right, it does conduct electricity, unlike the other non-metals in that column. But you didn't have to go that deep. As people tell me sometimes, it's not that deep. So, next question. In 1869, Dmitri Mendeleev, the final boss of the periodic table, produced his version of the periodic table. This is a tricky question. Let's see how good you guys are tonight. Why did Mendeleev leave gaps for undiscovered elements in his periodic table? Why did he leave gaps? What do we think? Mendeleev left gaps in the periodic table to account for elements that hadn't been discovered yet. But why did he leave them? How did he know? I don't like how this question's worded. And you weren't allowed, the mark scheme didn't allow you to say what you just said there, purple. To add newly discovered elements, again, star, then you weren't allowed to say that. So how did he know? He wasn't just like some brainiac. How did he know there were undiscovered elements? How did he arrange the elements? Can anyone tell me? Anybody tell me? How did he know to do that? They fit the periodic table pattern. You're getting close. You're getting very close. What did he do? Why did he leave gaps? Why did he shunt some elements along? So he did them in atomic weight. You're right. It says that here. They were done in order of atomic weight. But the question is, why did he leave gaps? Atomic number wasn't till later, Jess, because he didn't know about protons and neutrons and stuff. To arrange, here we go, Mango 288 is smashing out the park. To arrange them with similar chemical and physical properties. So to put them in groups, here we go. So elements with similar properties could be placed in the same groups together. So elements with similar properties could be placed in the same groups together. And if he didn't leave gaps, then he'd have to chuck stuff like this. He'd have to put iron in with sulfur and oxygen, for example. Correct, Sophia. Absolutely. So you weren't allowed to say, who's that, Kayla? You weren't allowed to say because elements weren't discovered yet. You had to say, why did he leave gaps? Because of the wonderful things that he did, which was he put them into columns, into the groups where they had similar properties. Newlands and Mendeleev placed the elements in order of atomic weight. They've told you that twice there. Complete the sentence. Anyone got there before me? The modern periodic table places the elements in order of what? In order of. This is this is for AQA specifically, but this question will come on all the exam boards. This will be on all of them. Atomic number. Well done, Joel. Atomic number. Why couldn't Mendeleev do that? I mentioned this before. This is applicable to higher, foundation, combined and separate. And I definitely can't pronounce your name. Although the last bit is Zane, Jam, Spam. Oh, there we go. I can't. If you look at it quickly, it's hard to see what the hell's going on. Why couldn't Newlands and Mendeleev do atomic number? I mentioned this already. This question comes up all the time. Why couldn't Newlands and Mendeleev, why couldn't they order them by atomic number? Who can tell me? Who can tell me? Why? Why couldn't Mendeleev and Newlands order them by... Protons hadn't been discovered yet. Absolutely. They hadn't discovered the subatomic particles. Well done. Lithium, sodium, potassium all in group 1. Explain why. Nice and easy. Easy question. What do we think? Why are they all in group 1? What's the significance of things in group 1? Sophia's just smashed that out the park. They all have 1 electron. Top tip for an exam. Learn to write electron with E- because it means electron. It just saves you a lot of time. All have 1 electron in the outer shell. I've not done a live for ages and I can't write. Do you find that when you go back to school, your hands don't work anymore and you can't write? Is anyone feeling that pain? All have 1 electron in the outer shell. But that's not enough for 2 marks. What's the second mark, people? This is random questions from random papers. I couldn't actually tell you. I printed this out a while ago. I don't know which one this is. I'll be honest with you. It's from way back though. It's not a recent one. It's like 2016 something. Good use. Brilliant. They have similar properties. Well done, Joel. Well done. They have similar properties, similar reactivity. Similar properties. You could say they have similar reactivity. Well done. I can't pronounce your name. Seoigmin's number 1. Right, here we go. Question 8. Right, this is just whether or not you can interpret data that you've been given. So the table gives the information about the solubility of some compounds, all potassium and sodium salt. There we go. Blah, blah, blah. So these are all soluble compounds. It's telling you 3 categories of things that are soluble compounds. And then it asks you some questions that you should be able to figure. Sungmin, sorry. Name a soluble compound that contains silver ions. I remember when this question came out and people struggled with this massively. Oh, I think we need to mute someone. No, 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 no. Don't spam the chat or I'll kick you off forever. Who can tell me? Who can tell me? So we've got silver nitrate. Absolutely. Because if we know all nitrates are soluble, then a soluble compound that contains silver ion is going to be silver nitrate. So it says name. So the mark scheme will probably, the mark scheme allows you to give the formula. But if you're answering it correctly, you want to say the name, which is silver nitrate. Okay. What exam board is this? This, Lexi, is specifically AQA, but these questions would come up on OCR as well. And Edexcel. Name a soluble compound that contains carbonate ions. So, Who can tell me? What do we think? Potassium carbonate or sodium carbonate? Absolutely, because we've got potassium and sodium here, and we know that anything that's got carbonate will be soluble if it's potassium and sodium. So again, if you want to be really posh, but slightly incorrect, you could write the formula, or you could just say sodium or potassium carbonate. What you could really do, Joko, this is both the stuff, the questions that I do branch, they span both foundation and higher. Right, what you need to know, guys, if you don't know this already, nitrates have the formula NO3-. If you want to do well in chemistry, learn a nitrate ion is NO3-. Learn that a carbonate ion is CO3 2-. If you want the top grades, you need to know these things. So a nitrate is NO3-, carbonate is SO3 2-. And whilst we're on about complex ions, so these are all complex ions because they've got more than one atom in them. We've got hydroxide, we've got sulfate, which is SO4 2-, and my brain's escaping me at the moment. Phosphate is probably the most, the craziest one that you don't need to know as much. But hydroxide, sulfate, carbonate. Can anyone think? I feel like there's another one I'm missing. Can anyone tell me any other? I can't even think of the word. Can anyone tell me any other complex ions? Thank you for following, people. Sulfite isn't complex. Oh, is it? It's not on. It's definitely not on the specification for GCSE. So, metal oxides react with acids to make salts. What type of compound is a metal oxide? What do we think? Thanks, Pappy, for sharing. That's not as in my Pappy, but, you know, like, that'd be Papa, wouldn't it? Anyone watched Stranger Things? Ionic compound. Yeah. Metal, non-metal. I'm not sure. That might be on the allow bit. Let me just scan. It said it was, you could have, I'll put it in brackets, you were allowed to say ionic. But it reacts with an acid. So that's the clue that they're giving you. Here we go. It's definitely not covalent. Covalent, Isaac, is two non-metals. And this is a metal, obviously, because it says metal. And oxygen is a non-metal. So it is a base because it neutralizes the acid. The definition for a base, if you don't know, is that it neutralizes acids. And what's the definition of an acid? It neutralizes a base. What's that silver halide ion test we need to know? Oh, we'll do that later, mate. There's lots to talk about there. I'll do that when it comes up. Lead nitrate solution is produced by reacting lead oxide with nitric acid. You should know that. State how solid lead nitrate can be obtained from lead nitrate solution. Relatively straightforward. Do more A-level. Okay, I'm working on it. It's in the pipeline, Jocko. State how solid lead nitrate can be obtained by lead nitrate solution. Hopefully, quite an easy question. How do we do that? What do we do? Thanks for following, people. We're getting lots of followers tonight. Thank you so much. Fillet. It's like what you do to fish. Is it good if I ahead learn stuff when I haven't learned? That just is gobbledygook. Evaporation, crystallization. This is GCSE. Filter. So if you've got lead nitrate solution, what is lead nitrate solution? Lead nitrate is literally PbNO3 aqueous, which just means you've got lead nitrate dissolved in water. How do you get rid of the water? You literally heat it up. So you could say evaporate. And I think that also allow you to say, yeah, you could have said heat. Would be fine. Filter, not at all, Eddie. You wouldn't filter. There's nothing solid to filter out there. All that stuff is dissolved. The fact that it's a solution means there's nothing to filter out. Filtration, GCSE Karam, filtration removes an insoluble solid from a liquid. So there's nothing insoluble there. So all you need to do is boil off the water, which evaporates the water. So ultimately you heat it, which evaporates it, and then if you heat it loads, it boils, and then the process of crystallizing is when the crystals are left behind. Isn't evaporation the same as crystallization? But crystallization is just decomposing salt. Crystallization means forming crystals. Evaporation means the solvent is evaporating, so they're slightly different, but in this context, the two things happen in conjunction. That's a big word for this evening, isn't it? And if you do it slower, you get bigger crystals. Is this higher foundation? Both. Okay, that's a strange username. But you know, each other. So try this one more time. You get some prop. I don't know what that means. Is there lots of potty mouth stuff on anime? I don't even know what that means. Balance the. Is that like the cartoon stuff from Japan? I don't even know. Balance the equation for the reaction. So here we go. Top tip for balancing an equation such as this. Can you see how there's an NO3? This is called a complex ion. We talked about. Oh, that's the one I couldn't remember before. Nitrate. Yeah, we had nitrate up here. So that's a complex ion. When you've got a complex ion in a reaction and there's a bracket outside of it, and there's a 2, so it means you've got 2 NO3s. I've just had my Streamlabs access suspended. Your access going live on Streamlabs has been suspended. Reason: repeated violations of our community guidelines. What? Is anyone still there? Is anyone still out there? Is anyone still watching me?